Let's take a little trip in history. Let's look back in time to the past 100 years here in the United States, back to the year 1900, examining the political landscape during those years. The government has been operating a three-branch entity just like it is now, with an elected two-house Congress, an elected administration, and an appointed judiciary. The Senate, being the upper house of Congress, has 2 senators per state, for a total of 100. The House of Representatives, that is adjustable in size, is based upon the population of the United States. The presidency, this is the guy who is to administer the law that the previous 2 entities create, change, and maintain. The judicial branch is appointed by the executive branch of government, so let's ignore them for this topic and focus our attention on the 3 parts of government that are elected: the Senate, the House, and the administration. In 1917, the 17th Amendment was enacted. It changed how the Senate was formed. Originally, Senate positions were elected by members of the House of Representatives. Partisan politics heated up to the point where Senate elections were stalled and the U.S. was not adequately represented in the Senate. So, in 1917, it was decided that the Senate should be elected by the people rather than the government. So, we will concentrate on the last 83 years of the 20th century, and of course the first 8 years of the 21st. Now, let's discuss the role of the 2 major political parties in the U.S., the Liberal or the Democrat Party, and the Conservative or the Republican Party. The Republican Party predominantly focuses its attention on the upper class and administration population in the U.S. They believe that a strong and effective management will result in a strong workforce, which is true. They believe in very little government control over business, in cutting taxes, streamlining government, and believe that the middle and underclass will prosper as a result of effective management, keeping consumer prices down for the lower class by relieving the upper class of the financial burden. The Democratic Party predominantly works for the middle and underclass. They focus their attention in this way to create an equality for the majority of the country's population. They believe that maintaining a strong middle class is essential to the stability of a democracy. The expendable capital is in the hands of the ones who earn the capital, who have the purchasing power to stimulate and maintain the economy. They believe in labor unions, social programs to assist those that are falling hard on times, caring for the less fortunate, maintaining the bridge between the under and middle class to prevent anyone falling into poverty. The upper class will naturally benefit from the power of the middle class prosperity. The economic philosophy of the Republican Party focuses on the wealthy, and we've seen throughout history that financial power never seems to benefit the middle and lower classes as one would hope. It actually breeds financial corruption and greed. The rich want to make more money, and they want to keep it. Well, that's pretty understandable. Makes sense to me. Why would the rich think any other way? But what about the rest of us? Now, let's look at a graph that I made. This represents the data for control of the 3 sections of government that we're concerned with: the House, the Senate, and the administration. When one political party is in control of all 3 sections, there is never an argument between the Congress and the President. Laws are created, passed, and signed into law without obstruction. The only thing that stands in the way of abuse is the judicial branch, if it is found that the law does not comport with law. So let's look at this graph again. and see how much control each party has had over the past 91 years. According to the data, the Democratic Party has held a majority of the control over the government over the last 20th century, with only a little shake-up here and there. The only times that the Republican Party has had sustained control of the elected government was here in the beginning and here at the end. There was a short 2-year stint in the early 1950s, but that's not nearly enough time to make any changes to government that will make a major impact on the economy. So let's focus on the 2 major time periods that Republicans held control of Congress and the White House. The first is the 12-year period of time that included the stock market crash and the Great Depression towards the last years of Republican control. The last was a 6-year Republican control, with a Republican administration maintaining control over a Democratic Congress for the last 2. Overall, Congress was in Republican control for a total of 12 years by 2006. And if anybody has watched the news, just in the past couple of weeks, the stock market has started to crash again. Now, doesn't it seem strange how the Republican Party has been at the helm for the only 2 sustained periods, and our economic security becomes unstable both times? This country is not only for the rich, not only the middle class, or the impoverished. It is for all of us. The rich are only going to serve themselves. We have seen that. With the wealthy being almost exclusively served by the Republican Party, the rich are exclusively going to be the ones that will prosper under Republican control. We've seen it twice now over the past 90-some years. The Republican Party uses the natural ignorance of the masses to exploit our brief understanding of history. They don't want us to know that they have a miserable record of fiscal responsibility and do not really give a bad damn about the little guy. Otherwise, they would have noticed this a long time ago and changed their doctrine. Please, think twice before casting a Republican ballot. Vote for the party that actually has a history of representing you in Washington.